Say what's cracking, YouTube? It's your boy 16 to life, and I'm back like I'm on a parole violation. Yard down. Now, for those of y'all new to my page, y'all already know what it is, man. I'm back. I got another video for y'all. Now, the other day, a couple of days ago, I put up a video titled "Why I Didn't Interview That Prison Guard," and so some people, since then I've been getting a few comments in my comment section here and there. Some people have opinions that was somewhat negative. Some people have opinions that's somewhat positive, right? So first and foremost, I want to say and let everybody know that the prison guard did reach out to me by email and told me that he didn't see my original request to do an interview with him, and that he would have no problem doing an interview with me. I've also seen that he has done interviews with Big Herc, and he had done an interview with I believe it was a Blood up out of San Diego or whatever. So if people got the impression from the video that I did that he didn't want to interview me because I was black, I would like to correct that and say that is not the case. As a man, I believe in the same manner in which you wrong a person, which was on YouTube, you come back and you right a person, which is on YouTube. So I came back to do another video just to let people know that that was definitely not the case. And to keep it 100, right, I have no problem, because I believe that we all have racial pride, and I believe that we all, sometimes I guess it's not right, or people don't want you to support your own race. I definitely believe that in order to really be able to be unified with others, you have to be unified with your own people, right? So I definitely have no problem with people supporting their own race, right? And then, like I said in the interview, he told me that, in the email, he said that he didn't see it, right? And so once again, I have to give the benefit of a doubt and be able to empathize with him in that situation, knowing how when I first started off with my YouTube page, I was inundated with a whole bunch of requests to do interviews and stuff like that, right? And I still get a lot of requests sometimes now to do interviews with other YouTube channels. Sometimes with me, I'll turn down those requests, not because the person who's trying to interview me may have had a different walk or a different prison experience than I had, but mainly because I try to stay away from the drama, right? Because I see with some of these other prison YouTube channels, sometimes some of the channels or whatever can get caught up in drama, and especially in the comments. I think, and that's one thing I think that a lot of you guys fail to realize with us prison YouTubers, right? Quote unquote. Many of us who have went to prison, and I'll specifically speak for myself in this instance, right? Going to prison, having a life sentence, just, I still consider myself fresh out, right? I've been out about 4.5 years, somewhere around there, right? So just having anybody interested in anything that I have to say, for me, is honestly an honor and a blessing, considering 5 or 6 years ago, I didn't know if I was ever coming home. So for a person to find interest in what I have to say, like I said, once again, that's an honor. And so many of us prison YouTubers, and myself specifically, when I come up with ideas or topics, I try to come up with topics and ideas that interest you guys. I could possibly put up content every single day, but would it be something that you guys find interesting? Maybe not. To be honest, you guys inspire me a lot when you leave comments and say, "Hey, chill, you know what? That was a good topic right there," because of course I know the I'm gonna call them the train wreck videos. They always do good numbers. When I say train wreck videos, I'm talking about, when the video is about violence and fighting, someone getting stabbed, stuff like that. For whatever reason, those videos always seem to get the most views. They always seem to get the most attention. People love violence. People love hearing about, the violence that goes on in the prisons. And I get it, because I still watch other channels, and those are some of the things that I seek out sometimes, because the stories are interesting regardless of all the time that I did, I still find those stories interesting and intriguing, right? And so I get that. But, I like when people leave comments talking about topics that they enjoy topics other than the topics that was just based on violence, because it's more to prison than just being violent, right? And I think I can speak for all collectives, all people who've been in prison, when I say that nobody really wants the violent episodes for a number of reasons, mainly because nobody wants to get hurt in prison, nobody wants to lose their life. And I believe everybody in prison, whether they have life without parole, everybody in prison at some point in time aspires to come home and be released, whether they have a date or not. No one wants to be stuck in prison, man. I remember a friend I had from Compton who had a long time, man, and I used to ask him, "Hey, man, what's up? What's going on?" He used to say, "Oh, man, trying not to die in prison, trying not to die in prison." He was one of those dudes who definitely didn't think that he was going to get out. And to keep it 100, a whole lot of other people didn't think he was going to get out too. I mean, we lightweight thought the dude was crazy, and he had a negative attitude about a whole lot of stuff. But surprisingly to him and many other people, after doing about 35, 36 years, maybe, he's out, So like I said, he always used to say, just trying not to die in prison, trying not to die in prison. I don't think nobody wants that, right? I think everybody wants to eventually get out of prison, right? And so nobody wants to get caught up in a riot. Nobody wants to be stabbed. Nobody wants to be killed, injured, lose an eye. And then outside of that, the riots, the fights, they tend to, especially in the later years, when prison started to slowly maneuver away from what prison used to be back in the 80s and early 90s. Back in the days, man, from what I've heard, a person could get stabbed. You could have 2 or 3 different stabbings on a yard back in the 80s, and they would just come get the person and then resume normal program. But eventually it got away from that. And so anytime there's a big giant riot and the prison's locked down, nobody's making any money. There isn't any visits, there isn't any phone calls. The few type of small things that make prison a little better, those are all removed from the prisoners. And so nobody really wants that type of stuff, right? And so when I talk about other things that doesn't necessarily have to do with violence, and the people who watch my channel leave comments and say that I found that topic interesting and stuff like that, I definitely like that, right? Because people fail to realize there are a lot of intellectual individuals in prison, and we have thoughts and ideas and stuff that's outside of just violence. It's sad to say, but sometimes by going to prison, we put ourselves in a position where now we pretty much have no choice but to be violent. It's sad when you, through your own actions, put yourself in a place where violence is the language that's spoken by everybody, and violence is the language that's most respected. Sometimes, you try to talk to a person logically, respectfully, and that person will take you as a sucker or a pushover, a mark, a buster, or what have you. But when you whip that thing out and go upside his head, that's something that he's going to respect, and everybody else is going to respect, for many, many years to come. So, but like I said, man, I just wanted to say that the prison guard did reach out to me, and he did say he was willing to interview me. I digress a whole lot, because like I say, I just freestyle this stuff off the top of the head, right? And so what I was saying also too is some of the channels that I didn't want to go on are some of the channels that I see that is caught up in kind of like just back and forth bickering with other channels and stuff. And then you have the people in the comments who kind of take sides with either the person who's running the channel or the person that's being talked about by the person that's running the channel. And I seen a dude looked in the comment section yesterday. One dude was talking about how, people be posting his address and stuff like that. And who wants to go back to prison, right? And, you have sometimes not in, and that's another thing. In my comments, I always, I salute the people that watch my channel, because I always have very, 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 very positive people in the comments. But some of these other YouTubers, they'll talk about getting threats. One YouTuber was talking about how people was posting his address. Now, of course, you have family, friends, and loved ones who come to your address, who come to your home, people you care about and respect, and me personally, of course, I'd be willing to defend to the death if that situation ever came about. And so that's one reason why I stay away from a lot of things, a lot of pages that I think might be confrontational, inflammatory, and can lead to BS that I don't want to involve myself in, right? So once again, as a man, I don't think that I consider none of that stuff in terms of the Prison Guard channel. Like I say, there were certain channels that I didn't want to go on or whatever, and so I didn't think about that in considering, okay, well, maybe he doesn't want to come on the channel for a certain particular type of reason. So I didn't give him the same freedom that I gave myself or whatever. And so like I say, as a man, I was once again like to apologize for that and say that I erred in my thinking, right? And so I definitely don't want anybody out there to not watch his channel, not subscribe to his channel, strictly based on something that I said or something that I mentioned in the video. So I just wanted to put that out there, man, that yes, he did reach out to me, and it's possible we may get the interview or whatever. I got a couple of interviews set up with a couple of other guards, and so I don't know, I was gonna say I don't want the channel to be too flooded with interviews with different guards, but who knows, it may not even matter. 3 or 4 different guards at the opinion of 3 or 4 different guards may be something that you guys may want to hear, you know what I'm saying? Because just like each convict or each prisoner has a different experience, different guards have different experiences. So yeah, that definitely may be something that I may do. But like I say, once again, the prison guard, he reached out to me in an email, told me that he didn't see when I originally requested an interview with him, which is definitely a plausible explanation, because sometimes we may get hundreds or thousands of comments, and sometimes it's time consuming reading all those comments. Everybody doesn't read all the comments, and so that's definitely an understandable explanation, right? So anyway, I just thought that I'd say that, man. And also at the end of the day, this is something else that I wanted to say, right? A lot of the viewers sometimes get caught up in the topic, and that while I try to put my all into a topic and give you guys something that I think that you'll enjoy, you guys have to remember, and this is just for me personally, at the end of the day, it's just content. It's something that I put up to of course satisfy the people who tune into my page, and I try to give you guys the best content that I can. But at the end of the day, it's just content. It's almost kind of like, well, it is like going to work. It's just going to work. So it's something that I put up, not to make it a inflammatory issue, but basically just to get paid off of. If I'm gonna just keep it 100, right? Anytime I can see something, anytime I see an avenue as a content creator that I can, that I can pretty much, I'm gonna use the term exploit, as I can exploit to make a video about, that's what I'm gonna do, because it's more pay, it's more pay, you know what I'm saying? And so I've been thinking lately too, I've been looking up on YouTube a little bit here and there, and I see people doing stories about their first YouTube check and how much was their first YouTube check. So I think sometime next week I'm gonna do a story about my first YouTube check. I know you guys will definitely be surprised at the amount that I got on my first YouTube check, because I was surprised, and that's why I continue doing this stuff. Like I say, at the end of the day, it's content, man. So anyway, you already know what it is. It's your boy 16 to life. Resume normal program.